welcome back to another episode of Breaking Waves. On this week's episode, our sail ripped off.
World-renowned margaritas. Man, this thing is tight.
Woohoo! Getting so much better at sailing. Stay tuned, because this one's a doozy.
This is Ben, our jean vest-loving, fearless captain. One day he convinced me to go along with him on the adventure of buying and moving onto a sailboat, Kiana. And since then, we've had no regrets. I'm Allie, by the way, first mate and fishing enthusiast. And together, we've been exploring the Pacific Northwest, and one day we hope to take her home and our surfboards even further. Oh, this is Bruce, our sandy boat dog. Thanks for coming along with us, and special thanks to our patrons for keeping us going. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and don't forget to hit that bell.
Oh my god. I can't believe this is a thing right now. We start this week's episode in friendly Cove, a great little anchorage at the entrance of Nootka Sound.
Good morning.
Morning. Then having a dog on board is the best in a lot of ways. Oh, and in other ways?
Makes the rainy mornings a little more annoying.
Oh.
It's actually really nice out though. Feels good to get wet.
Yeah? Woos, do you feel good getting wet?
Okay.
You wet rat!
So yeah, we're just sailing out of Friendly Cove, and this is a place that my company works. It's a community that we work with, just on the southern tip of Nootka Sound. Ray Williams lives in that house year-round. He's pretty much the only guy that still lives out here in the summer community of the Muchalot First Nation. And it's kind of cool. There's also a Coast Guard station here, and everything runs here on diesel for the most part. Ray does have some solar and battery, but it's not working well. Anyway, we're going to be doing, hopefully, the first ever wave energy project in North America, just on the other side of the coast here, and combine that with new solar, new battery, and allow this community to grow and do some tourism and that kind of stuff, and then also hopefully power up at least part of the Coast Guard station and displace some of their diesel.
Woo! See that, guys? Sailing off of the anchor! Woohoo! Getting so much better at sailing! What happened? Oh, shit. Should we just go back into Friendly Cove then?
Yeah, turn around.
I got the shakes a bit. I'm sorry, it's so shaky, my hands are shaking. Our sail ripped off. The top 4 slugs came out, and then the wind blew, caught our sail, and ripped the rest of it out. And it was flying over the side, and I was standing on deck because we were just trying to pull it down. And it was over the side of the boat. And I couldn't get it back in. Ben's on deck. Okay, we're fine now. But that was pretty fucking scary. Welcome back to another episode of Hectic Waves. As you can see, our mainsail is in the cockpit. Just to let you know what happened fully, now that I can make words, our top 4 slugs came out after we reefed and after the main was up. We spent too much time taking our time reefing and into the wind, so our sail was flapping pretty hard. It ripped out the top 4 slugs in our slide. So we were like, oh crap. We went into the wind, tried to pull it down so that we could redo it up, and a big gust came and just ripped the whole sail out. Because I was on deck trying to pull the sail down, I don't know if this is smart. I may get flack for this, but the entire sail was off the side of the boat. I thought we were gonna lose it. I was trying to get it back on the boat, so I was grabbing the edge and trying to pull it back onto the boat, but it was full of wind. And then Ben was trying to steer us. The swell was pretty big too, so it was like tipping us. And he also had the halyard in his hand, and we were trying to manage it. We ended up steering kind of in the direction of the wind that it blew the sail back onto the boat, and then just like pulled it in to the cockpit and tied it down. So it's attached to the boom still, but it's not attached to the main. I panicked pretty hard. Ben was fucking sweet. He was so calm, and he was like, Allie, it's cool, don't panic. And I was like mid-height of panic. He's like, we got this. And I was like, okay, I don't got this. Anyways, we are now trying to find an anchorage that is quite protected. It's about 20 knots of wind today, so that we can at least do something. We don't know what we're gonna do, if we're gonna try and put it back on, or if we're just gonna tie it on deck, or if we're gonna tie it into the cockpit, and then maybe just sail with the jib up the inlet to find some protection. Either way, our course for the day is changed drastically. We don't yet know what we're gonna do, but we have to find a protected anchorage so that we can at least take some time to figure it out.
So the reason why the sliders popped out is that this is a fairly new sail to us, and I measured the sliders and then also looked at the measurements I gave the sailmaker to see if we had the correct size sliders or not, and we don't. They're small, they're they're too narrow by 3 millimeters, which is just enough that they work most of the time, but they can pop out. And we are going to get this fixed. Like, we're already talking to the sailmaker about it, and there's a repair being planned for, but it just couldn't happen for this trip. So I figured we'll deal with it over the off season, but not a good plan, evidently. So I'm not that worried about it. Like, I know we're going to be able to get the sail back up. I don't see it's not damaged. It doesn't look like anywhere that I've seen so far, and I'm pretty confident we'll be able to keep sailing. We just need to avoid a situation where we're throwing a reef in and the sail's like whipping all over the place. I think that's why they all popped out at the top. But otherwise, I think we'll be fine. We just got to find somewhere calm that we can fix it and carry on. So this is the slider that goes up the mast, and these are the things that pulled out one by one until we had none in the mast. They measure 18.7 millimeters, and our old ones were 21.5 or something like that. So they work for the most part, but then when you really need them to hold, they pop out, and that's what happened. That's the problem. So we're gonna get that fixed. That repair is already in process. The sailmaker is already organizing over the off season. We're gonna swap them out with larger sliders. And the cool thing about Precision Sails is that if we had done the screw up, they would still fix it at their cost. That's their policy, is that because their whole business model is that you do your own measurements, and that helps you save money on your sail, rather than having a sailmaker come and measure your boat. So the way that they mitigate potentially the boat owner screwing up their measurements is that they just have a strict policy that if you screw it up, they own it and they fix it. So it's a pretty cool policy. In this case, they screwed up, so we'll get it fixed. But I don't think that it speaks poorly of them. I think it's just an honest mistake.
Bruce slept through the whole thing. He barely even lifted his nose off of that step.
Wet rug you.
We ended up tucking into this little cove beside Strange Island that looked like it was a logging operation. There was also some beautiful cabins in this part of the sound where people clearly had a great sport fishing setup. It was all we needed to get the job done.
This'll do, hey? Get the sail back in order. It's weird. It's like a combination of like a logging camp and like recreational fishing lodges. Let's get this sail done.
What are you on, the halyard or the slugs?
We're back.
And we're back.
The song is called "The Sail Came Off the Track." Oh yeah, man, Crusoe. Oh, the sail came off the track, da da da. Bravo, bravo.
With the wind on the outside of the sound blowing 30 knots from the southeast, we decided we had had enough adventure for one day and changed our route to the inside passage. I made a beautiful charcuterie board while you were busy sailing.
So we were gonna sail around this way this morning before the mainsail came out of the track. Now we're going in the protected zone. Kind of nice though. 5.5 knots, dead downwind. Would have loved to sail out on the open ocean today just because it looked like it was gonna be pumping, but yeah, this is okay. Ellie's working away at our next episode. So we've decided to pull into Tassis for the night. We were debating going up north the other end of Nootka Sound or pulling in, and I just kind of figured this is really our only chance for the rest of this trip to get some Wi-Fi and upload an episode. And I have a little bit of work I need to get done. Also, they have margaritas, so crushed ice margaritas. It's been a surprisingly good sail down the inlet. It kind of started off like not great, super annoying, a lot of sail changes. But we've just been wing on wing now for a good couple hours, doing 6 knots, steady, cruising down the inlet, really mellow sail. We both been just hanging out inside mostly, keeping warm, and Ali's editing. I'm really just sailing the boat, and yeah, it's been a surprisingly nice sail today, considering how the day started. I feel like Vikings right now. Coming into the inlet, coming into Kattegat. Ali and I have been we just powered through 6 seasons of Vikings. kind of reminds me of how the Vikings, they always sail into Kattegat at the end of this inlet in Norway. Something about the like foggy, rainy moodiness of it all, kind of, it's got its own charm. So what's happening?
We're in Tassis. Yeah, it used to be a logging town, and now it's just basically a little fisherman's town at the end of this inlet.
So there's still some logging for sure in this area, but it's
Yeah, we drove by like 4 or 5 logging camps.
like a sport fisherman's. Like, I don't see a lot of commercial operations here. Just a bunch of sporties.
Look at that view, though. The backdrop is cool.
How's it? World-renowned margaritas here in Margaritaville.
Ooh, that's sugar, not salt.
And these margaritas must have been something special because look who we ran into.
You guys remember Rennie from the Rugged Coast Research Society? This is our landing craft. Yeah. Holy shit, this thing is awesome.
With the new landing craft that Rugged Coast Research Society recently acquired, the funds that have been donated to them and that they've been saving up for.
Did you guys see our boat? Is that, or did you just see us? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Man, this thing is tight.
This trash craft is going to allow them to remove so much garbage from the beaches, and that's what Rennie was doing up in this area. Trips with the trash craft to remove marine debris from our coastlines.
Where are you guys headed to exactly?
The Chalets.
The Chalets.
Yeah.
Going to pick up some more garbage.
More garbage. One more
Cleaning
load.
up the coast.
One more landing craft load, and then we're done up here.
Good time to remind everybody that a portion of all Breaking Waves revenue goes to Rugged Coast Research Society. You guys work. All right, boys. Have a good surf.
Thank you so much to everybody who's become a subscriber and a patron over the last little while, because your funds have helped us acquire this boat, and it's going to make a huge difference.
I feel cool to be associated with them.
Yeah.
Bunch of cool dudes just cleaning up the coast. In that.
That thing's so sick.
Shout out to our new patrons, Jay and Beth, Tony Cribbs, Richard Lasser, Steve Green, Jason Huey, Palav, David, Alvin Morris, Brian Dines. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for joining the team, and thank you so much for your support. If you're new here, definitely hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so that you don't miss out on what happens next.